Xayah. So most of my support matchup videos have actually been about supports because I feel like there's more to it. Whereas AD carries, it's pretty similar. You just fight the AD carry. You know, if they're really mobile, you're gonna maybe be using more Qs. If they're more immobile, you're going to be using more E's. But Xayah, I feel, is very unique in the matchup itself. So I want to talk a bit about how the lane's going to go, what are some tips, and hopefully it'll provide some good information for you to deal with her in solo queue, and hopefully you have better luck than I do. So let's begin with talking about Xayah's general play patterns and how she interacts with Zyra. Also, this is going to get me at least, I think, 2 times in this video. Xayah versus Zyra. It sounds very similar. So basically, it's very important to be aware of how her feathers work. So a lot of times after an ability, Xayah feathers are going to go through the minions, and she has a spell that does this as well. So in general, you're not going to want to stand behind minions, which is something that we often do against champions. Think of this kind of like Lucian, where he's going to queue you through the minions. So play around the brushes as much as you can, and that's hopefully going to help deal with this. Furthermore, it's really important to not forget about the feathers. Again, think of it like Caitlyn. If you forget where the traps are, you're going to be in for a really bad time. With Xayah, you forget where the feathers are, you're going to be in for a really bad time. And the interesting thing about the feathers and how they go through the target is that it creates an interesting and unique dynamic for Zyra. Normally as Zyra, you want to attack and walk away. But you can't just run directly away from Xayah because you're going to have those feathers right behind you. So the important thing when playing against Xayah is to, when you retreat diagonally. If you're going to flash away diagonally so you don't just get wrecked by the feathers that got thrown behind you in the trade. Last couple initial comments are that you can bully Xayah definitely before level 6, but once level 6 happens, it gets really rough. Her ultimate makes it very, very hard for you to lock her down. She's mobile. She has a lot of burst. She has CC from her root, which becomes a lot more reliable when she has the extra feathers from her ultimate. So do not get baited at level 6. All right, so that's the general stuff of playing in Xayah as Zyra. So to go into some more specifics, I want to talk about 3 things. Runes and masteries. That counts as 1 because it's pre-game. And then pre-level 6. And then we're going to end by talking about post level 6 in some more depth. Hopefully not too much depth. So before the games, I do think this is a hard matchup, so I would recommend armor quints. I don't always run armor quints myself. I often run full penetration. That being said, I think armor quints are going to go a long way against Xayah. She doesn't have any particular synergy with armor penetration, which is usually why we go armor quints, but it's a lot of damage, and if you don't run them, you're probably going to get killed at level 6. So that's why I recommend it in this case. It's just a general defensive thing against a hard post 6 matchup. You're not going to lose almost any damage early game by going by foregoing the penetration quints. So I think it's a good call. Fine. Also, kind of talked a bit about this in the play patterns, but I would recommend going exhaust instead of ignite. A lot of times I take ignite if I think I can snowball the laning phase, which you can do early in this case. But you are pretty useless against Xayah in lane post level 6 if you do not have exhaust. Otherwise, she will dodge your spells, burst you down, and you won't have an answer. Your plants will be there, but they won't be doing anything, or they won't be doing enough because you'll already be dead. And she'll have dodged a lot of your damage. So I think if you really want to fight Xayah, take exhaust. And again, I guess that's only again for fighting Xayah post 6. Pre 6 ignite would still be better. So it also depends on how long do you think the laning phase is going to be. The laning phase is going to be really long. You need exhaust to stay alive in the 2v2 after level 6. If you think the laning phase is gonna end really quickly, ignite's still fine. But again, ignite's more of a laning phase spell anyway. So if it's gonna end quickly, you don't really want to ignite in that case either. So most of the time, almost all the time, I recommend going exhaust against Xayah. Now for the laning phase. I recommend you know, kind of what I said earlier. Not gonna say too many new things here. Make sure to bully her before level 6. She can't do, well, that's not true. She can do a lot to you level 6 if you misplay, but if you play intelligently, you should be in a good spot to bully her. So with that in mind, be aggressive. Obviously, don't be too aggressive. Play with your AD carry. Don't stand behind minions. Play around the brush. Watch out for the feathers, etc. I'm gonna keep this going so we can. People want to be watching what she does. We can keep the video going on the side. And that's pretty much it. Outside of that, typical Zyra things apply. So everything I say in my guide, do here. Post level 6, again, I talked about it a little bit. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Do not all in. Do not force the all in under almost any circumstances. Even if your jungler's there, I think it's a bad idea. She can easily get a trade kill with you dead. In general, you want Xayah to be forcing onto you. What that means is let her use her abilities first. Start with a QW combo. If she trades into you, then you can put the E in. But don't start with an E because then you don't have that much left. If she dodges the Q, you can land your E. She ultimates the E, then wait until she gets down. You use your ultimate. And that's one of the really clutch things about exhaust here is that if you don't have exhaust, you can't afford to wait to use your ultimate. You'll already be dead. But with exhaust, that's going to buy you some time to actually use the ultimate after she uses her ultimate. Also, if she doesn't dodge your E with her ultimate, then she dodges your ultimate. Too many people's ultimate. And that's good for you. If you can land a QWEW, you don't even need your ultimate at that point with exhaust. So just save it. Force her. Basically, you're playing ultimate chicken with Xayah. But of course, what this is really important is that you don't miss your E. Again, if you miss your E, you just threw away your cards. So do not be afraid to save your spells against Xayah. Q, use it however you want. QW, all the time. You can use it to trade casually. You can use it for an all-in. But E, you really need to hit that. And if she dodges your E with her ultimate, that's fine. That's a good trade for you. Wait for her to come down. Pop your ultimate then. If she does not dodge your E with the ultimate, then she'll dodge your ultimate with her ultimate. And then in that case, you just save it. Say, I won't use my ultimate if you won't use your ultimate. Unless you're about to die, of course, in which case, go ahead and lay it down beforehand. But that's kind of the general thing for playing it in Xayah at level 6 as Zyra. So it's really important that you land your spells. Do not be afraid to save them. And most of all, do not get baited. Do not just do your full, oh, I'm going to use my full combo, because then she will dodge everything. So you're not comboing against Xayah, using things intelligently, one by one. With this in mind, again, let me restate, skill shot accuracy is very important here, which is why it helps to use your spells slower. And so is exhaust, because that's what's going to buy you time to play things slow. If you don't have exhaust, you can't play things slow because you'll be dead. Finally, I want to restate that flashing against Xayah, make sure you don't just flash directly into the feathers because she's going to root you and kill you. Flash diagonally. Flash away from the feathers. General. So, as a summary, that's basically it. It's a pretty hard matchup. I personally ban her a lot just because I don't want to play against it. I want to play against an AD carry I can kill. And Xayah is not one of those AD carries after level 6, which is when Zyra is the most strong. Well, Zyra is strong levels 3 through 5 too, but 6 is also a big power spike for Zyra. Make sure you bully her as much as you can early on. Again, don't suicide, play around the feathers, but you can bully her before level 6. At level 6, save your spells, don't get baited, try to play as intelligently as possible. And that's basically it for this matchup. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. I have Discord information below the video if you want to chat. We have a channel specifically for Zyra discussion, and it would be great to get your feedback and we can have a discussion. Me, you, other people in the channel, a whole bunch of Zyra players talking about matchups is always great. The more people that are there, the better discussions we can have. So really appreciate it if you came, hang out, give me your thoughts. Otherwise, you can always reach me on Twitch. I stream quite regularly, Twitter, or the YouTube comments. Thanks for watching, and may your enemies feel the thorns embrace.